A beautiful morning once again. Good morning. Want to give glory and praise to God for waking us up this morning, I should say. It's a wonderful day. Thank God for the cool air, the rain. We have a storm in front of us, or hopefully by now it has already moved. But we just want to give God glory and give God praise this morning for waking us up, your loved ones, your friends, your neighbors, your family members. Give God glory and thank Him for waking us up. All right. Today, I'd like to get into. Before I get into the Constitution, I also want to ask that you learn to forgive people for the errors against you. Remember that you yourself transgress against other people. You offend people. So just be always open to forgive people for their errors. And also be able to forgive yourself for your errors, or for sometimes we have these struggles within ourselves where we do things and we are unable to forgive ourselves. You start with there, right? I hope that the Heavenly Father, God of Abraham, plays an important role in your life, that you lift Him up as your supreme being, as this Constitution states, that He is the supreme being of this land that we call Belize, this beautiful land, this rich in resources and ever flourishing land we call Belize. We thank you for Him, and we thank you for the people that has given up this land to be, for the God of Abraham to reign over. We thank you, Lord. We thank you for the beautiful day that you have put before us. We thank you for the successes, for the doors that you're opening today, for the ones that you're closing. For your word says that all things work together for good for those that love and serve Him. So count it all blessing, no matter what's going on in your life. It all works together in the end for your benefit, right? You just have to learn when the good things, when the things that are uncomfortable happen, learn from them, choose from them. And when the things that are good happen, give Him praise. Thank Him. All right? So, again, I hope that your home is fine. I hope that you're today meeting in a peaceful state of mind. Whatever is going on in your life, be it comfortable, uncomfortable, I pray that you find peace. Above all things, find peace. Okay? And that peace can only come from the Most High. So, I want to tell you, let love reign in this land, and let's get our country the way how we want it to be, and not how other people want it to be, right? And it starts with us loving one another. It starts with us caring, all right? Simple little things. So, for those of you that have been following my videos or have been paying attention to my good morning, sweetie. Morning. For those of you that have been following my videos, morning, Alejandra. I want to remind you, of course, always have to open with it, and that's the reason why you hear me give God praise and thanks and acknowledge Him before I even divulge into the videos, because this Constitution states that He is the supreme being of this land. So, being the supreme being of this land, I acknowledge Him. And whether or not He was the supreme being of the land, I still acknowledge Him in my personal life, because I have a personal relationship with the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the creator of all things seen and unseen. I have a personal relationship with Him. So, I give Him praise. And I challenge you to start including Him more, start acknowledging Him more, and see how your life turns around. Okay? All right. So, what we have learned so far from this great Constitution of ours, so that our people can get into knowledge. The Bible says that due to we lack knowledge, and that's why the people are perishing. It says, my people perish due to lack of knowledge. So, I'm on a quest that we can get some knowledge together. Yeah? So we don't have to perish. All right? All right, so the first part, I'm just going to do an opening summary of the Constitution again for those of you that are not haven't seen the other videos or whatever. All right, this Constitution was enacted 21st of September 1981, and the one that I'm using, I'm reading is was in force as of March 1st, 2012. Okay, so the first part of the Constitution opens up giving acknowledgement and supremacy to God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And this is important, and I keep saying it because we have people in the land that are lawless, people that in the land that are rebellious, people in the land that seems to forget that this constitution and this land, the principles in this land were based on principles from the Almighty. So we cannot disregard his word. You understand? We can't take him out of our daily lives, of the happenings in our country. Okay, to do that, we would have forced his hand in judgment. Okay, many of us know that there are many times that there are hurricanes that come and sit right in the front of our country, right in the front, and they suddenly take another direction. Some of us would make jokes and say, especially as it relates to the political parties, oh, Saeed is here, so that the hurricane turned around and gone, or UDP to try to get excuse for make more money, so we're going all sorts of stories I've heard, very funny, right? But the truth be told is that we have praying people in this land, but I just want to challenge those praying people, the people that still acknowledge God, the people that still hold his word supreme and him supreme, right? That we have to do a little bit more, right? Because we're getting lackadaisy, right? We're getting a little bit laid back. So we have to start also keep his commandment, right? Keep his commandments. And one of his commandments is love one another. And the second one, the two that all the other commandments fall under according to Christ, Yeah, the man that was hung on the tree, yeah, who spilled his blood, yeah. So we can have grace and have mercy and go boldly before the throne. Yes, he says, love one another. And the second one is, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and everything. That's your first commandment. And then the second one would be to love your neighbor as yourself, right? So we ought not forget that. We ought not lose sight of that. We ought not let that go. Because the moment we do, we're headed for sudden destruction. Sure destruction. Sudden and sure destruction. It will come like a swiftly, quickly. Okay? Because he gives us time. God is very, very, very gracious. He gives us time. People might say, why the wicked people, they just all the good people, they dead, and all the wicked people, they continue to live for so long. Well, God is patient, and he's giving us time to correct our wrongs, to make good, if we're living a life of error. He's giving us time to checkmate it, to fix it. So if you go to the grave in error, you understand, then on judgment when you're called, what can you say? You had enough time because he's a fair God. You have enough time. All right? So I just want to again give him praise because, Lord, I don't know. I can't do. From I was a little girl, I've been praising God, and I have a personal relationship, and I don't plan to stop now because I have seen his goodness in my life through trials, through tribulations, through good things, through great events. No matter, I've seen his hand move. So, and I know what he's capable of doing. And I read the Bible, so I know who I'm dealing with. And you have to start read it because there's a lot of things in there that you can learn. Yeah. So, as I was saying, was to open up the Constitution with acknowledging God, and it also says that in the same part A of this, it also tells you, and I want you to pick three things that stands out. Actually, four. The acknowledgement of God being the first thing that the Constitution opens out with. The second thing being the position of the family, Before that, it spoke about faith in human rights and fundamental freedoms, right? But I had already did a whole bunch upon that. But the position of the family and the equal and inalienable rights that God gives to us, I want that to stick in your head. I want that to stick in your head this morning, that there are rights that have been given to you that no man can take away. The only way that those rights can be taken, and they can be taken away actually, they can never be taken away. What happens when you don't operate in those rights? It would be that you give up your rights, because nobody can take that away from you. Please listen to me and hear me when I'm saying, no man or woman has a right or can take away anybody's right, fundamental rights. You give that up yourself. Okay? It's not for anybody to take away, because mankind did not give it to you, so they can't take it from you. Only the Almighty gave that to you. That's a God-given right, inalienable right that you're to walk in and operating. So please, shift the way you think about that when it comes to your fundamental rights. It is not something for anybody to take. They cannot take it. You can only give it up willingly. And majority of us are doing so because we don't have knowledge. Right? Knowledge. And the Bible says, my people perish due to lack of knowledge. Not because you're hungry, not because you need water, not because you need air. It says we are perishing because we lack knowledge. Morning, Joshua. Because we lack knowledge. So let's get some knowledge so we can stop perishing as a people, as a nation. And for the future generations, let's give them some strong foundation. Okay? Fix up this faulty foundation that we have been, the shekere foundation that we have been standing on over the years, right? Because this thing is here, but it's not being exercised fully because people don't understand their rights, right? And honestly, I'm doing this, but I want people to be vigilant about it. Stop take this lackadaisy attitude, Don't be lazy about your rights when it comes to your rights. Don't be lazy. Try to understand it, learn it. I'm doing this because I understand. I know that a lot of our people don't know how to read and write. So I'm hoping by doing this, by sharing this, they would see this video and understand what is in here. Okay? And we can understand together, because I'm not just here talking. I want you guys to engage so that I can understand your part too, because maybe I missed something. Again, I don't know everything, So I'm reading though. You understand? Maybe you can learn in your own experiences or something as it relates to the Constitution, right? So that people can understand, because there's a lot of people learn and people learn different ways. It's not everybody that learn the same way. That's why I have a problem with schools as it is, because not everybody set out for that academic that setting, that classroom setting like that. People work good with their hands. People have different gifts, different talents. You understand? So meanwhile, they might not get into the class and keep up with the other students. It does not make them slow. It doesn't mean that they're dumb as people would like to put them in that category. You understand? No, it just means that is not their thing. And we need to start to explore so that other avenues that would enhance everybody's gifts and everybody's talent that they could bring forth, and stop just this mainstream school that actually sometimes even dumbing down. To me, it doesn't sometimes. It almost seems like school sometimes take away people's common sense, because they end up with a certificate, but they're like fools. They end up educated, but they're still illiterate. So I'm just saying, things like this will help. Right? It will help our country. It will help our people. We have a small country. We have a beautiful country. We have a rich country. And but without knowledge, without a people that have knowledge and understanding, you understand, we're not going to be moving very far. An educated citizenry builds a nation, builds it up. But if we keep our people uneducated, right? And education does not just mean academics, as I'm saying, and that's what I want you to understand. Having education does not just mean academics. You sit in a setting of a classroom. Education goes far beyond that, because you can get educated with emotionally, mentally, physically, psychologically. There's a whole bunch life experiences teaches you. So education would come from basically what you have learned, right? It's not just that classroom setting. To me, that's more like a programming in order to operate in this in this system. So that's why most people, when they're finished with it, they can't apply common sense, or they have all this knowledge, but they're not able to implement what they have learned. Okay, and that is what a lot of our society is going through right now. We have a lot of people with certificates and titles, and they can't implement nothing. They can't even exercise common sense. All right, so that is failure. We have failed. And it's not too late. As long as we get up every morning, as long as God gives us life, right? It is not too late. We can fix it. We can change these things, right? And that is the mission that I am on. Instead of pointing fingers and looking for somebody to do it, I take that responsibility, and here I am doing this. And here I am offering myself as an independent candidate for the Freetown area. You understand? Instead of looking for someone, looking towards somebody to do things that hasn't been that we clearly see has not been done or continues to be neglected over the years since we got independence. And you guys need to be real about it, right? Instead of waiting and hoping that the PUP and UDP get some kind of conscience card, they drink a cup of conscience coffee and wake up one day and say, oh, you know what, today we'll decide to do what we said we actually will do, or what we said we have done over the past years. Yeah, I think, well, okay, today we'll start doing that. No, leopards don't change their spots. Okay, leopards don't change their spots. It's clear they do not know how to implement. They do not know how to bring forth anything. Both parties, they don't know how to do that. Okay, so it's high time we recognize that you can't keep the call a cat or try to hope that the cat turn into a cow. The cat is a cat. It's not a cow. All right, and that is my awakening. You understand? Like I said, I am just normal Jane, plain Jane, just like you. Okay, I'm in the same category like you. I don't know anything more than you. See, I'm reading this. We're doing this together. All right? Because I am tired, just like I'm sure most of our people are tired. But it isn't enough to just say you're tired, and it isn't enough to just sit and complain, because that will not take away the fact that the house burned down. What will fix or help? Getting some water and extinguishing the flame. So this is me getting my water and extinguishing the flame. All right? This is my part, and I'm challenging you to do your part as well. Whatever you can do. It doesn't have to be what I'm doing here, you know. But if you have a thing for management, offer yourself, man. We have 31 constituencies that need candidates, so other people can exercise their rights to vote, because they don't want to vote PUP or UDP. Offer yourself. Don't worry about the negative. Don't worry about the negative comments and the negative things. Don't worry about that, and don't worry about no money. Just get your 6 people and put your name on a ballot. There are people out there who are looking for options. Okay? That's why I am doing this. The noise, I only hear my own noise. All right? And that is for my help, because if you listen to people, you will always get discouraged, because people always tend to be more negative than they are positive. If you have people that would encourage you, then yes, you listen to their noise. But I'm just saying, majority of the noise that you will hear will always be negative. It will always be discouraging, because we have a tendency of always leaning towards the negative. Quick. It's always easier for them to tell you something that would discourage you from what you're doing, than for them to encourage you, a word of encouragement. See, in me, I'm different. I've always been different when it comes to that. I don't like negativity, because it breeds negativity. All right? So when I see people doing something, no matter what it is, I encourage them. I would say something nice. Oh man, that's awesome. That's good. Oh great, you're doing a good job. You understand? But the reality is, majority of our people are not like that. Okay? And maybe like that Creole proverb says about the crabs in the bucket, and maybe people don't want to. But I don't think maybe that's it. But I think it has to do with this, the mentality and your heart, the condition of people's heart. People need to stop being so hateful. Right? We need to stop being so hateful. Take out that resentment and bitterness, because really and truly, honestly, I think that when people do that to other people, it's really, they don't like themselves, first of all. That's the first thing. So when I see people come to me with negativity or try to discourage me and all of that stuff, you automatically get more wild, because I don't realize that I did talk to somebody, or somebody is talking to me or trying to put negative into me, because they themselves are negative and because they don't like themselves. You understand? And because they're not appreciating themselves, or they hate their life, or whatever the case may be, they will want to put that into you. So you have to guard yourself. You got to guard your mind. Don't be listening to anybody. Don't be telling your dreams and your visions to anybody, because they're the first that will cut you down. And you know what? They don't say it in front of your face, but they start speaking against you. And words are powerful. The Bible tells you that, right? Words are powerful. Don't make no ghost fool you, and don't let anybody lie to you. Words coming out of people's mouth have power, meaning it goes and it creates. All right? So when you have your dreams and your goals and your visions, get up. And like when my grandmother tell me, you don't make your left hand know what your right hand to do. Don't go around sharing with everybody, because everybody's not going to be happy for you, and everybody's going to be trying to tear down your visions, your dreams. It's your vision. And the funny thing about eyesight or vision, only you see it. Always remember that. So even when you share your vision with somebody, they won't see it, because they're not looking through your own eyes. You know that little proverb too that says, sleep with your own eye? That is real. You can't sleep with somebody else's eyes. It's the same thing when you have your visions and your dreams and your goals. They're yours. Nobody is seeing it. Nobody is seeing it. Only you. So you can't listen to them. You have to block out them. Block out that noise. Because they will stop you from doing what you're supposed to do. And in the end, they're the same ones that will end up laughing at you. All right? So I want to encourage you this morning. Encourage you to, let's start to get a little bit of knowledge in everything that we do, so we can shift this country around. This small little Belize that people like to write off. There's a reason why they like to write it off, because they know the power that's in this country. If people start actually applying and implementing what they have inside them. Okay? And if they could start going to school and actually implement the things that they have learned. Right? But then that's another story. We have people with certificates and degrees and stuff that are not able to implement nothing. They just have that. That's it. All right? All right. So, the second part of the Constitution that as I was getting into, again, please remember that these rights are given to you by God. Nobody else. Only God gives it to you. Nobody can take it. Please, if you don't get nothing what I say in this video or in the other videos, please know that your rights, fundamental rights, is given to you by God, and only He can take it. The only way you won't have it is if you give it up. Only you can give up your rights. No judge, no liar, nobody can come take no rights from you. No minister could sit down and just wave like they half crazy. Alright? Only you can give up that right. And that is where the lack of knowledge comes in. Because if you don't know it, you will be giving it up and people will be trampling on it. That as what's going on right now in our country. Good morning, Adolfo. As what has been going on in our country right now, a lot of rights have been trampled on left, right, and center, and bills have been put in place to counteract issues, but those same bills are violating people's rights. Okay? So we have to counteract that now with knowledge. Simple. No Latinized, just knowledge. And understanding what your rights are, and start standing up, rising up for those rights when you see it being violated. And I mean not just your rights being violated. Don't just be taking that stance because of me. Alright? But when you see those rights violated for other people as well, right? Get uncomfortable. Please get uncomfortable. Don't be comfortable with foolishness. Get uncomfortable, because the same way if they can trample on other people's rights, then you're not too far. Don't think because you're in the safety of your little house, so and I not do that, all of them because they behave this way. No, please don't take that stance. If whatever happens to somebody else can happen to you in a split second. That is what makes life so, dynamic. Okay? Tables can turn at any time. So my quest is that if those tables turn and you are found in that position, then your rights won't be violated. Okay? So if it was violated for a Legion over there, and you just sit back and say, well, oh, that Legion, I hear this, I hear this, I hear that, then you know what happened? Tomorrow, or sometimes before the day even ends, Legion's position can be your position. Alright? That's how quick the tables can turn. So we want it that should those tables turn and you find yourself in that position, or maybe a family member or your child or a friend find themselves in that position, that their rights won't be violated. Alright? So it doesn't matter who it is. So this stance on I am okay, my house is okay, you understand? I'm fine where I am at. It's not me. Please, that mentality, I would like for us to start working on to shift that. To shift it, right? Because if we continue in that mentality, then they will become we. He will become me. She will become me. Right? So we just want it to be fair that even if this happens, your rights won't be, nobody's right will be violated or trampled on. Right? So we understand that the Constitution opens up with acknowledging God. You believe in a God? Awesome. Then start understanding what His Word says, how He wants us to live. And He, like I said, I just went on the two that Christ left, which is love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and And the second one, which would be love your neighbor as yourself. Love one another. And on those two, if we follow just those two things right there, then everything else falls in place. It's not like man's law where the creator, where every 5 minutes they want to make amendment and essay and amend this and amend that. Right? God's word is God's word and it doesn't change. And when we start to understand God's word, then we don't even have to worry about all these things. These people, they're serving a different God, so it's confusion. We can't get caught up in their confusion. We can't allow their confusion to confuse us. to come and confuse us. All right? Because we're founded on good principles. We're founded on our foundation. It's not faulty because it was founded on the principles and that acknowledges God as the supreme being in this land. So our foundation as a people is not faulty. But when you have people start to taking the hammer and the jackhammer and start to dredge at the foundation, then it's starting to create a faulty foundation. So we have to take away the hammer out of these people's hands. All right? Because our foundation is good. Make we continue upon that. Make we continue build on that foundation so that our country can flourish and our children can flourish and live. Right? All right. And so, again, your equal and inalienable rights. It's your right. Your eyes that for you, your mouth that for you, your ears that for you. You look upon what you want, how you want. You know, you have some people, oh, I not like horse, then they watch me. Then don't look at me. My eyes are for me. Oh, you have to watch where they say. No, I have a responsibility that if I don't want something, if I don't like something, then I won't do it to you. That is my responsibility, but that's not a law. Okay, that would counteract, it goes against your freedom of speech. And you're not responsible for how people feel. Because, like, again, as I said, people are funny creatures. Okay? Today they will feel one way, and then tomorrow they have a different feeling. So because you feel vexed and you have a quarrel and you don't feel right, or you don't feel, you don't value yourself today, so you could just come attack me and violate my right and then call it discrimination. That's craziness. All right? Those things that are intangible and you can't point out. No. We're not getting into all of that, because you'll be violating people's rights for no reason. And there is no reason under this constitution that gives anybody a right to violate the rights of another person. No reason there's this. Okay? There's none. For you to violate the rights of another person or write a bill or a law that would conflict. I'll get into that there is a section. All of this is right in the opening part of the Constitution. So you really have to go into the rest. But we're going to go into the rest because we want to know. We're going to go into it because we want to know. Okay? So some stuff can stop in this country. Some things can stop. Right? All right. So Part B of the Constitution was talking about the principles of social justice. Right? And that the operation of the economic system must result in the material resources of the community be distributed to subserve the common good. And we all know I spoke about that again in another video. So if you want to hear what that is about, just check out my other videos and stuff, because I don't want to go. I'm just doing a little summary for those that are maybe watching for the first time of what I have already spoke about as it relates to the Constitution, right? And we all know that right now is a problem in our country, because then the resources are not distributed equally, or to subserve the common good. Only a few benefits or has been benefited, a few parasitic people, vampires I call them, greedy, gravelicious people that need to get just go. But they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere if we don't remove them. Okay? And we have the power, because power is people. Power is people. And I don't like when people are being blatantly disrespected and their rights are trampled on. I have a problem with that. A big problem. Big problem with that. And why I have a problem with it? Because I am a part of that people. I am Belize, just like how you are Belize. So if they can trample on your rights, that means they will trample on mine. And I don't take that too lightly, because I understand what my God has given to me. and nobody is going to trample on those rights. Nobody is going to try. You hear I said try, because you can't take away my rights. I'm not giving it up, and it's not up for discussion either. Okay? All right. We also talk in part B about labor being exploited. You understand? How I mentioned how people are overworked and underpaid, significantly overworked and underpaid, right? And how they are forced to work in inhumane conditions. This is the Constitution. And this is just the second part of the Constitution that addresses that. That people's labor are not to be exploited, right? Or forced due to economic necessity, right? Again, if you want to hear me speak more about that, please check out the other videos, because I went into a lot more details with that as that regards, right? Because that is a big problem in this country, and it has been a big problem ever since. So it's not just something that's just started occurring now. It has been a problem back then, that people are being overworked and underpaid, and their labor are being exploited, and there is no remedy, because the labor department, you understand, these two mafia families in the PUP and the UDP have their cell persons in the departments, so you can never get remedy or justification, of your issues, that these departments were put in place for you, to protect you. These departments were put in place because of this Constitution. If they says that labor should not be exploited, that's why the labor department is there, to protect people, or to help people in cases like that they're not being good morning.